What is an archer who's afraid of their own shot? That's like the premise of that British TV show where there's a surgeon who's afraid of blood. My name is Bobby Nishimura and I'm a Recurve archer. For the past 4 months, I've been shooting Easton's X23 arrows, which are commonly called line cutters or fat arrows. These are the largest diameter of arrows allowed under USA Archery and World Archery rules, designed specifically for indoor shooting. But is it really worth the trouble to switch your entire setup just to shoot indoor distances, either 18 meters or 20 yards, just for a few months? In archery, we have a specific scoring rule that gives the archer the higher value if their arrow touches the scoring ring, even if only barely. For example, this is a perfect score of 30, even though it doesn't look like it. Since wind and long distances aren't a factor indoors, many archers shoot these wider arrows to take advantage of this rule. But that's not the reason I believe they're worth switching to. I've always shot my micro diameter arrows for both outdoor and indoors, but over time, they got me stuck in a cycle. Every year, I'd prepare for outdoor season and think that I'll be okay. Shooting outside actually made me less afraid of the shot somehow, but then indoor season would come around and I'll get panicky, forcing myself to shoot, making things worse for the next outdoor season and repeating the cycle. This time, I decided to try the legendary Easton X23 arrows. They are notoriously unforgiving, made of pure aluminum, and switching to them exposed every single flaw in my shot process. There's no saving the shot halfway. The shot's either good or not. If the goal is for more scores, then these aren't the arrows for you. They don't magically give you more points. If anything, they score about the same. Cost-wise, compared to building a set of Easton X10s, these cost less than a quarter of the price while delivering the same scores. But these arrows are not easy to tune. For the first few weeks, I'd shoot, get frustrated, and almost give up. In my last long-form video, I cut the same arrows to different lengths to illustrate the effects of arrow length on dynamic spine. Right after that, I committed to fully tuning these arrows for internationals, and in the process, they ended up teaching me a lot. Now, with the Vegas shoot just days away, marking the end of indoor season in the US, I am sold on them. This video is a reminder to myself. These have been an incredible training tool. Switching to bulky, unforgiving arrows forced me to think about my shot process differently and more holistically, like I probably should have been doing this whole time. It's not just that they're wider. These are made of pure aerospace grade aluminum, making them heavy, stiff, and unforgiving. The whole setup feels like a whole other bow in the best possible way. But the initial switch wasn't easy. I'm saying this to a future version of myself. If you switch to these, your shots may take longer and you may get stuck more often. A fellow archer saw me practicing and said it best. I had a tense shot because of clicker panic. Just like barebow and compound archers experience target panic, recurve archers can develop clicker panic, hesitation, fearing the clicker, and ultimately fearing the shot itself. Joe Turner explains this well. Our body isn't afraid of the target, it's afraid of the bow's recoil. But for me, hearing the clicker became the trigger for fear rather than focusing on the target. Instead of hearing the clicker, I try to feel the vibration of the clicker in my body, and these arrows forced me to stop beating myself up over bad shots. Instead, I started using each shot to build a better next shot. 4 months in, my shots are more consistent. Even though my bow is now at over 51 pounds, it's actually easier to shoot. My timing, head position, and T-pose are steadier. And the most important lesson I learned, the shot doesn't need to be hard. Think about that. Your shot doesn't need to be hard. So what's an archer who's afraid of their own shot? I'll be the first to admit, it's an archer still working on their shot. But these heavy aluminum arrows have proved time and time again that they were exactly what I needed. How about you? Have you experienced clicker panic or fear of your own shot? What tools or techniques have helped you overcome them? Drop your recommendations in the comments. I'd love to hear them.